Hello and welcome back to the OCS. We are already one game deep, already a match point here for GRVA to pick up the victory over Dire Cubs. Cub Pack looking to bite back in this one, but I think a different game plan is in order here for game number 2.
Has to be. With the Cubs, they tried to play something that was a very, very standard composition for themselves, but it didn't quite work out for them. For them, it was, like you said, the Hecarim didn't really unlock its true potential. A lot of what they had in the bot lane with Andrew and Corporal, with the Yuumi Corki, they just didn't have a front line, so they couldn't engage. But they were doing very, very well for themselves. It
was somewhat weird of like that is a standard Dire Cubs game plan where like bottom lane gets ahead and you get to snowball through that. But they tried to play split push into Guapi. Right, I want to see Kweku go back to like the Aatrox, go back to the Ornn if you need a hard tank. But if that was a different sort of composition, I mean, like we're kind of talking about draft a lot, but I think it was a key point that like Hecarim didn't hit Triforce, like Fiora wasn't able to split. If they like Dire Cubs go back to like team fight comps, that is where they have seen like their most success, right? Like no Fiora into Guapi, pick a hard tank, yes, losing matchup, and then just get yourself a team fight button because Andrew Corporal, if they can do the similar sort of thing with like Corki Yuumi in the bottom side, get themselves a lead, and then they have an avenue to actually start fights, then I think that game looks much closer when you get to mid-game, but if they just opt in for the style that Gravitas want to play, it has seemed that like Gravitas have been very good at like forcing opponents to play towards their style for tiebreakers, for quarters. Now first game of semis already. If they can keep that up, then this could be a very swift 2-0.
Yeah, that was completely going to be the point that I was going to bring up next. With Gravitas is actually forcing Dire Cubs to play the game that they want to play. Dire Cubs, we know they like to play it a lot slower. Really mid to late is where they come unlocked. But when you have Gravitas forcing those fights, like Baron, forcing those fights in River, forcing those fights over small objectives like your buff, your jungle, where it slowly starts to really add up. Dire Cubs, they didn't get to play the game they wanted to play at all. They didn't get to play their composition the way they wanted to play it.
And I mean, maybe it's not playing on stage, not playing in the competitive environment for a couple of weeks, right? This is a team we haven't seen for at least 2, where Gravitas like had to play through tiebreakers. Remember, they lost first game at the tiebreakers. They were one game out of like genuinely being out of the tournament. Back-to-back victories get them through. 2-0 in the quarterfinals. Now already match point in the semis. Certainly feeling good, and that is like the danger of, I'll call it a gauntlet. It isn't a gauntlet format, but they've played so many back-to-back like playoff games already to get themselves here. Like they're just comfortable in the competitive environment.
They're ready to go.
They've been doing it every week. There has been no break really. It's just like their standard stuff week to week. Every Thursday we play those games, and there has been that break from Dire Cubs, and yeah, certainly looks to be like a significant factor here in these games.
Not all is said and done, though. We still do have 2 potential games coming up. As you said, for Gravitas, this is going to be match point for them. For the Cubs, it's going to be do or die, essentially.
Yeah, Gravitas now, given it is the second game of the series, lower seed actually get to pick their sides, and they've elected for red side as well. So Dire Cubs losing on their elected side of the map and immediately get flipped onto the blue side. Does change things in draft somewhat. Blue side kind of has a little bit more flexibility in terms of banning away power picks because, I should say like pocket picks, given that you do have more options in terms of you just get the first pick whatever you want and then the draft gets decided after that point. But we'll see how these 2 teams do react here in game number 2.
Well, I like that they're still sticking to Why Not's jungler. So Why Not has been playing the Xin Zhao, I think, almost for like 4 weeks consecutively. Loving that jungler. Forced him onto the stage this time around. And then again, Guapi. So these are all like target bans on the side of Cubs, still sticking with it. My biggest thing is whether they think that Hot Chelly's Cassiopeia deserves a ban or whether they'll let it go through again. Or if they're going to pick it up for themselves.
Because was it the first pick? It was first pick Cassio, right?
Pick,
so yeah, potential to get banned away.
Too good to give over again.
Because if it's not a blindable champion for Hot Chelly, like if he doesn't really want to take that in like the first 2 picks, then Dire Cubs can sort of engineer a matchup that you won't want to pick Cassio into. But if he's just happy to blind that one anyway, then is a necessary ban. So I like what Dire Cubs have gone with. Corki was successful game number 1. You can't argue that Andrew wasn't just monumentally huge. He was almost like Flame Horizon territory over Retribution, but couldn't find the fights he needed. Vladimir was banned game 1, and Gravitas going to get that for themselves.
That's going to be a very, very strong pick for them. Again, opting for that flexible pick that Vladimir does offer, whether he be in the top or mid lane. And just a safe champion all around. So we saw a lot of that fighting happening. With Vlad, you're not really going to get that playstyle. It's more just farm up. That's more like the Dire Cubs playstyle, right?
Somewhat.
Oh, here's one. That's a good talking point. So with the Morgana, so Emelg was also playing Morgana back-to-back in the quarterfinals with great results. Didn't pick it up last time, went for the Bard. This time it's open, and they've managed to secure that one.
Yeah, Bard was the answer to Yuumi, of course, did get banned away here. I'm surprised they didn't lock in anything like the Sejuani, given that they went for the Vladimir that was banned game number 1. Game plan does shift a little bit for Gravitas, and if you're not going to have a melee side laner, then maybe you don't want to go for the hard tank in that jungle pool. Karma, I'm expecting, given that we already see the Morgana, this to actually go to the hands of Corporal. That could just be a Karma Corki lane at the bottom side. Morg does very well into matchups that are melee bruisers that want to fight you, like the Alistar, the Braum, like the big beefy guys that just want to engage.
Yeah, you shut them down.
Into something like a Karma Corki, the poke can be Siva Corki, I guess, as well. The poke can be hard to handle. Don't have a lot of sustain there, so Diacub's going for heavy priority on the bottom side already.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I want to see where that Siva ends up. Maybe the Corki goes to that top lane now.
Yeah, could just chase around the Vladimir.
Yeah. Super duper interesting. So for Cubs, were they really keeping us on our toes? So too for Gravitas. Now they have to anticipate where are these lanes going to go? How do they want to respond? Twitch and Lucian now open. They were banned in the second part of the draft.
And they've done it again. Such a greedy bottom lane, but they've been so successful at getting through laning phase. Like the all-in potential from this duo is super high. When you look at a Siva Karma, you expect Siva to get priority, especially after first base, and then Karma just makes that even worse and allows poke lanes to just sit underneath your turret. But Retribution and Emelk have made a lot of work happen down on the bottom side and just finding the fights they need before they get to that point. Poke lanes kind of win the war of attrition. They get there eventually, but if you just find a fight immediately, then it can be a good time. So back on the Twitch, had a rough time last game on the Kai'Sa and goes back to Comfort here.
Yeah, it's really weird because Kai'Sa was a comfort pick, but then I feel like Twitch is even riskier as opposed to the Kai'Sa, because at least Kai'Sa is on meta. Twitch is just kind of like one of those weird champs that you pick to sometimes cheese, or if you do have like a really beefy front line. I don't know. Twitch just feels to me like a solo queue champ.
Yeah, right. He thrives with kills, snowball super easy.
Yeah.
And in competitive, it's hard to find the picks that a solo queue Twitch finds, right?
Yeah,
like
because
when
you've got a
everybody's
much more structured team.
Yeah, when everybody's more coordinated, it's not like you can just pick the idiot running around in the river, because that idiot just doesn't exist. When you get to semi-finals of OCS, like if somebody just dies in river randomly to a Twitch, they're definitely losing their team the game at that point. So it's not the situation you want to find yourself in, and he does kind of go back to that like team fight menace. There's already like backline threat in this composition for Gravitas. Vladimir dive with a lethal tempo Twitch opening up just dishes out so much damage. He is kind of that turret that at certain stages of the game, like doesn't even matter if he dies, if he just gets to shred the entire backline. So once again, is going to be one of these games with Gravitas going for heavy team fight. Diacubs still have their options open here.
Yep, so Sejuani locked in again. There was a lot of jungle prioritization in terms of the bans coming out from Gravitas. So targeting that one over to the Diacubs, where they take Sejuani for themselves. Yeah, Jarvan's still available. I was thinking maybe the Silas coming out for the jungle, but then you're feeling like you have a really squishy comp. The Olaf got banned away, and that was going to be my next go-to. So I'm really curious to see.
Ooh, okay.
That's interesting.
Gragas is a good one.
We saw him actually last week. Was it last week or was it week 11?
Gragas is getting a ton of play at the moment. Is somewhat difficult into a Morgana lane. If you ever get black shielded on your engage, can feel super rough, but in terms of being able to make things happen early, E-Flash Body Slam, super useful tool and much easier to execute than something like a Jarvan E-Flash combo. Is that going to get locked in?
Surely that's a hover.
Oh,
yeah, that had to be a hover. Okay, I like that so much more. I was like, please don't pick Alawi. Whoa.
Nah.
That's also a hover. Yeah, damn right.
Zed would be an ambitious one.
Well, a Hot Shelly, what has he played? Let me see. So he likes... Oh yeah, Irelia got taken away. He's played some Veigar. He's played some Pyke, Zillion. He's played some weird stuff like that.
Ori?
That's pretty safe. But it kind of tailors into the same kind of playstyle that Cassiopeia brings to team.
Well, Hot Shelly is genuinely, like a year ago, he was an Orianna one-trick.
Was he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it goes...
back to his roots.
Back to Comfort, genuinely. As comfort can be. Hot Shelly on the Orianna has played it as well this split. And when you kind of take a look at the composition Diacubs have elected for, it's like Siva, you have the Karma, there's so much mobility to just run at you in a team fight. Kiting back over the ball can be a super effective strategy. So
oh my god, how did I forget about Corki mid?
yeah, it does make a lot of sense
there.
yeah,
now I'm just like, oh, duh. Totally forgot that he excels in that mid lane.
Okay, and I really like what Diacubs have done this game. Didn't go for the hard split push. They have early game proactivity. Gragas E-Flash, if you throw that into a lane like the Renekton, onto the Vladimir can be super easy to execute. Like, yes, you think about the tools he has the pool. Eventually we'll get like the stopwatch, the Zonya, stuff like that. But if you can make things happen early, then Kweku on this Renekton, which he's already had games on this split, can be super effective. And they're not relying on a Fiora split push to get ahead this game. They're going for the team fight, trying to match fire with fire here and trying to equalize this series 1-1.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the execution. If they're both playing similar compositions, who's just going to do it better? That's what it's coming down to. Gravitas says, again, they just need this one game over here to go to the finals. For Diacubs, they need to keep their dream alive by winning this one. So now we were talking about nerves. You'd really be feeling, I mean, you've been a player yourself. How do you feel at this point?
Yeah, I've always said that the first couple of minutes of every game, you feel nervous no matter what stage of it is, if it's during the regular season, whether it's playoffs, yada yada. But once you kind of get into like the first trades, of course I wasn't a jungler, so I wasn't clearing camps, but first trade happens and you kind of forget everything exists outside of your monitor. Hope things do stabilize somewhat. Taking in a look at the runes already, there are some interesting choices, right? Double lethal tempo down on the bottom side for the AD carries, so once we get to teamfight phase can be super effective for both of these guys. Corporal's gone for the more aggressive option on the Karma. Kind of, as we alluded to in Champion Select, if he finds access to like priority in lane, he gets to just throw hot garbage underneath the turret, then combat damage does add up.
I really think it's going to come down to how well Retribution and MLG can really just stay. I still call him MLG. I'm sorry, Milk. It just happens.
He's got to commit.
Yeah, we've just been stuck with, with that name for so long. He's probably just like, why can't you say it right? It's been weeks.
Genuinely. It's been months.
You say it too.
It's been months. That is true. Ooh, fight the bottom side.
Yep.
Very early.
And ML, he has to flash away immediately. So Andrew and Corporal already starting to bully them out, and we haven't even hit the lane. Both of them completely chunked.
And let's talk about some nuances of this bot lane matchup, right? So no Ignite in the hands of Corporal and Andrew. So yes, they win the fight, but they don't flash over the wall. They just keep their advantage. They're not looking for the immediate kill because they don't have that extra layer of security, Ignite ticking down, that will guarantee you that at the end of the day. And Emil actually showed that he started pool level 1. Walked into the Dragon Pit, pulls over into Tri-Bush that... so he's not going to have the binding for level 1 fights that is super useful. Not going to have the shield. The pull really only gets you priority once you can use it on the minions. Not that useful level 1 on champions. So going the greedy way to lane in a tough matchup early, and Diacubs, they do get the punish.
Again, with Diacubs, with these early punishes, it really sets the tone up quite well for them. But as we saw last game, it didn't really mean much. Kweku, he's laying down the pain straight onto Guapi again. Maybe revenge for that last game.
Certainly is the case. Press the attack Renekton. So much kill threat if Guapi falls low. Let's have the TP, of course. Double TP on the top side, but kind of a rough early lane matchup if Kweku can close the distance.
From last game, Jax can be pretty fragile in the early game. Same too with Vladimir. Doesn't really come online.
Yeah. Like, this is just Guapi's champion, right? Like, he plays Jax, he plays Fiora, like, he plays the GP that's been banned away every game, has played Vladimir, I believe, in the tiebreakers or the quarterfinals. Already played it, like, in the last couple of weeks. So this is a guy that just is one of those top laners that he always wants to have the scaling advantage, and his early laning gets him through the rough points, right? He's had some very good early games on the GP, has carried some victories here, so there's another similar style here, and it kind of does put the opponent on the clock. Kweku is making pretty decent progress early in this one so far, given that mid lane rotates up as well to secure the Scuttle Crab, and Graga still has like the Predator E-Flash gank. Hasn't used it anywhere early. If Guapi does fall too low, then he's under a significant amount of threat.
So he's feeling threatened enough to actually get that recall. Going to probably teleport back in. Udisoft actually hunting for that.
Ooh,
no, cancels at the last second.
Why not?
And this is going to be Udisoft's chance. Kweku doesn't even wait for it. He's happy to just go in. Why not? Incredibly low. Can't do much.
Yeah, junglers didn't even interact there. Guapi just gets a little bit too greedy and gets immediately punished by the Renekton. Very nice play for Kweku with the top side. Now this is back-to-back solo kills in back-to-back games here.
Yeah, literally a repeat of last game. They managed to get that early flash advantage from Gravitas, and Kweku got the first kill in the top lane.
Yeah.
But ultimately Gravitas won, so maybe this is their way of being like, we'll give you these, and then we'll just win the game.
Yeah, could be. I feel like a better way to win the game is to win it at all stages.
Yes.
Bottom side is... in Struggle Town. Probably
As
one way to
expected.
put it.
It was to be expected.
Oh, yeah, after like the level 1, right? The problem is they have heal to TP. And the TP lane is winning, right? So finding hard fights is hard. Gravitas kind of looking for one there, and if you're questioning why he didn't go for the play, because Andrew could just TP on the wave and then Retribution would die, but they're going to struggle to find a back timing, and that's why kind of why not his path down towards bot side. Ubisoft is looking to match right now, but if Diacubs can just sit this lane underneath their turret, they have negative sustain. Morgana like can heal herself if she uses abilities on champions or a cannon creep, but Retribution's going to struggle, just has a Doran shield. Just super rough territory to be in. It's already a cull purchase, so Andrew's kind of doubling down on the advantage they have will pay off a little bit later.
Why not actually starting the dragon very, very early? The rotation comes out from Diacubs. Going to be trading that one over to the Diacubs.
Yeah, straight up leashes it for the opponents there. Doesn't have priority mid, doesn't have priority bot, and starts up the dragon. So as soon as one of those lanes leave, just gets pushed off with ease, and Diacubs, this is a very strong start to game number 2.
This time, it's not going to be the Air Dragon. They also do get the Mountain Drake, so that's something that's also going very, very well for Diacubs. And Gragas can be an absolute bully in the jungle, something that we didn't quite touch on as well. So happy to walk into Why Not's jungle, get tabs, get vision for himself.
Because it's also, one of those situations where Gragas has already taken...
Top lane, Kweku has unlocked level 6, and with that gets a second kill onto Guapi.
Yep, straight up solo kill, round number 2. No TP for the Vladimir as well, and they just saw the Sejuani on bottom side of the map, so Kweku has demolished. That's going to be 1 plating, 2 at minimum. May stick around for more if he wants, but... Okay, he's going for a wander. Wants the vision control in topside jungle. Actually, super smart play here for the Renekton. Uses his advantage in the now to get him an advantage in the future. If he spots out the Sejuani on the expected path, will be super useful. Also can get himself a plating if he just love taps the turret, and will do so very soon. So that's a solo kill, 2 plates, and tracks the enemy jungle in the same play.
Completely walks up to Hot Chelly, who's not much he can do there. Also stalling his back.
This is rough.
Yeah, for Gravitas now, the brakes have officially been applied.
Yeah, no lane winning right now. Corki gets a nice base out of Hot Chelly. Blue buff going to get taken away as well. Ubisoft, due to the fact that the Renekton spotted the Sejuani earlier, able to steal that one away with ease, and bot lane has just had priority the entire time, so... Yeah, this is a very good start, and they've gone for the double cull punish, right? It's not like the good start we invest in more Dorans, more longswords, and let's win right now. They are on the Sivir, are on the Corki, so they can kind of keep winning slightly and just get a bigger break later on in the game when those culls do pop. So Diacubs investing in the future right now, and looking the goods.
It's also early executioners on the side of Kweku, so very, very good when you're playing against that Vladimir, so itemizing correctly for his lane. Ubisoft again, happy to do the dive. I wonder if Kweku's going to start things off. Guapi procs the ultimate, running around with the Predator. Pool there to try and stall. That's going to be Why Not. So managed to buy himself enough time to deter the dive.
Yeah, Why Not does eventually show. They get the Predator out of the Gragas, but they don't get the flash. If you are Gravitas, you probably wanted to be able to bait a little bit more out of that one, but probably just happy to live at the end of this day. There's a fatty wave on the bottom side being pushed in. Andrew and Corporal just continuing to play underneath the enemy turret. Seaman now with a package. This could be the entire rotation of buffs actually taken away. You can see they're playing, and I say they as Gravitas, with 0 lanes of priority. Nobody has the push right now. Why Not has lost everything in his jungle.
Why Not just runs in there, and he's actually going to trade his life with it potentially. Kweku can follow him through the wall. He needs Guapi to try and help him, stalling as best he can.
Do they actually continue this one, looking for the dive? Mid laners are fighting their way up the river, but Diacubs, they get the red buff, they get the flash out of the Sejuani, all for naught. They just used a couple of ultis, no summoners burnt, so another advantage going the way of the Diacubs, and a significant gold lead at 9 minutes, sitting at about that 2,000 mark.
It's really interesting. I feel like Renekton was a bit of an oversight for both teams until they're like, hey, he didn't get banned. He's super duper strong. Let's get him, because neither team really prioritized until the end there. That's going to be the spray and pray coming out from Twitch. Andrew actually using the spell shield, goes for the flash and gets the kill. MLG, he's trying his best to take out Andrew. Does trade the 1-for-1. Corporal surely able to pick this one up.
Eventually,
get the kill.
The auto attack takes him down. So Retribution and Emelk find themselves a 2 versus 2, but the CS tells the story. Traded back. 2 kills go the way of Diacubs, and they're still sitting at about double here. Found the fight they needed, but...
That was calculated.
Yeah. That was super smart, right? Holds the spell shield, knows that the Expunge wants to come out of the Twitch, and has to wait that little bit longer. Flash, auto attack, W, auto reset. He's able to pick up the kill, so... Very smartly played from the bottom side of Diacubs, and Goldly just extends that a little bit further. They pick up the 2 for 1. 2.5k right now, and a freeze being held in top side to make matters worse.
Kweku, he knows how to manipulate his lane to get maximum results and just, as you said, make Guapi's life even more difficult. In the mid lane, they've really been just blow for blow, but again, no priority being won means that you essentially have these 2 mid laners locked.
Yeah, and it's not often you kind of look at a Gragas team that has this sort of advantage without having to blow the Gragas flash. Right? Like, due to the fact that they have had priority in all 3 lanes, Ubisoft has had so much free time to just bring some friends, walk into Why Not's jungle and be like, okay, this buff is mine. Spend so much time farming his jungle that his own is kind of just left up on the map. He's fairly even in CS, but has had the lion's share of opportunities this game, and potentially looking for another one. They already have a Mountain Dragon for themselves. Air Dragon has spawned now, and Ubisoft in the area looking to take it down.
So 3k gold goes over to Diacubs in terms of the lead that they've managed to forge for themselves, but also the next objective over here, the Dragon. This is where Gravitas, I mean, the snowball, it's starting to happen.
Self's in, Ubisoft.
Be the ult coming out. Ubisoft forced to use the hourglass. Sorry, the pocket watch over there from Corporal getting very, very low. The ultimate comes out from Ubisoft, sectioning out. Why not? Who gets taken out? Now, Emelk, he needs to run away because he's been completely taken out as well.
Huge punish for Direwolves. The stopwatch buys Ubisoft so much time, and Gravitas with no priority look to contest the fight once again. The CS lead in the bottom lane is just going from bad to worse. Now Sivir has even more time to push this one in. Second Dragon added to the belt, and at about, what, 12, probably 13 minutes, he's going to be double his lane opponent in farm.
Diacubs, now they're finally playing the game that they really wanted to play at the beginning of the day. You can just see it's like totally different. The tempo, totally different. As you said, it really hurts for Gravitas to not really have any priority, to be so scared to even roam out, try and fight for these objectives. But also Ubisoft, now he's come online. Last game, he got completely shut down. This time, he's able to just get away with anything that he wants. Yeah,
they kind of fought Greed with Greed last game, right? It's the early lanes being locked in with like a Hecarim Fiora as the match, whereas this time they go for a Renekton Gragas, 2 very early buttons, and certainly making work of it right now. Kweku looking for more onto Guapi. Isn't quite at the Hex belt as of yet. Kweku has gone for the Executioners and the Merc Treads as well, so given he is a 2-0 Renekton with 100 CS, normally you'd be looking at a first item completed, but had to kind of pay the tax of these multiple components before he gets to that point.
Guapi still chilling in that top lane. And really, you also look at the plating, it tells a tale of how dominant Kweku has been in this lane. Just constant push for Guapi to deal with. Actually going as far as to start the Rift Herald. So Ubisoft is there, trying to get rid of any vision that they might have. Why not? He's looking like he wants to contest, but again, if he does go for it, who's going to help him? Yeah,
it's so hard to contest anything as the jungler for Gravitas right now. Goes up, gets his golems. I didn't quite see who got the blue buff on the other side of the map. If it went over to Hot Chelly or whether it was stolen away once again. Okay, Hot Chelly has it, so he's got himself the first blue buff of the game. Certainly feels nice as a mid laner mage department, but Rift Herald being taken for free, no contest there for Gravitas. Does this just die?
Yeah.
It dies.
Should. The rest of the members are looking to see if they can make a play, at least trade a life over here from Kweku. He tries to go on in, but he's been completely locked up. That's finally the shutdown now for Guapi, so trades the first brick with his life.
Yeah, first brick gold goes over to the Renekton solo, which is nice. Rift Herald as the response got popped in the mid lane. Ubisoft picks up a nice bunch of plating just before the 14-minute mark. Both of these teams have been good at using the Rift Herald before that point, getting maximum gold out of this one. Top lane looking like a flank coming out of Seaman on the Corki though.
Guapi's trying his best to stay alive. Doesn't matter. Suman has enough damage to trade for him. So 1-for-1. Both top laners now down.
Super easy pickup there, and maybe thought he was doing the blue buff. Maybe thought he was reacting to the mid lane counter push from Hot Chelly, but Not going to be the case. Corki finds himself behind the Vladimir without having to blow the package. Mid lane though, here we go.
Valkyrie goes on out. The Shockwave manages to clip Suman, but he has enough damage to get rid of Hot Chelly.
Yeah, prediction from Ubisoft. Hot Chelly flashes into the cask, throws him back into Seaman, and the Corki goes from 1-0 to 3. Couple of kills in his back pocket and exploding onto the scoreboard right now. This gold lead is just monumental. They got themselves so many plates top. First brick goes down as well. They bash Rift Herald into the mid and pick up 2 kills now. What, 8,000 almost is the lead right now. Explodes out of nowhere all before 15 minutes.
It's hard now in terms of trying to think of a way forward for Gravitas because it seems as though that window is really starting to close. You already have that goal difference in terms of lanes, but now all the lanes are officially losing with that kill on Hot Chelly, who is going blow for blow. Corki exploding on ahead with that gold. 2k now over his opponent.
Yeah, 2k mid, 2k bot, 1.5 in the top side as well. This is...
The window of opportunity is really closing for Gravitas.
Yeah, well, it's almost the opposite, ironically. Because given the draft, like, the window of opportunity really wasn't there. Like, you expect these lanes to play out similarly to how they did. Maybe not to this extreme, but given early fights, their bot lane gets punished level 1. They have 0 prior that they could have played through. The jungle matchup skews as well, and now they're kind of in this situation where they just have to wait, right? They don't really have big buttons to start team fights off, and I guess they do have their Sejuani, but they won't have the damage threat. Like, Twitch isn't even at 1 item. Vladimir really needs 3 before he's a team fight monster, right? And it is kind of, all the proactivity is in the hands of the Dire Cubs right now.
Swing and a miss from Why Not again. The ultimate going a little bit too wide, still forcing that flash from Corporal. Couple more follow-up flashes. It's going to be the pocket watch again. And this time, Andrew is there. The Shockwave manages to hit 3 members, but with that, Hot Chelly gets taken out. Why Not is fighting for his life. That's going to be 3 kills now over to the Dire Cubs.
Yeah, huge punish from the Dire Cubs. They clean up from all angles. Only 2 members left standing. Mid-turret is not long for this Walden. As I was saying, they have to just wait. They look to pull the trigger on a play. Once again, get baited by the stopwatch of the Dire Cubs. Corporal, hook, line, and sinker walks him into his team in the turret. Guapi now in trouble.
Yep, Guapi trying to hold back 3 members. No, 4 members with Corporal still in the backline hanging around. Procs the ultimate, doesn't have enough anymore.
No.
In the bot lane, though, that's going to be Kweku with a nice, easy kill onto Retribution.
Yeah, looking to get something done in the side lane, but finds himself a Crocodile with a Shojin. And when the Renekton gets to build, first item Shojin.
Cubs are on fire this game. They're painting the map. And it shows. I mean, with Cubs, they've never been too concerned about being behind, and it's just so refreshing to see them go, okay, game 1, it's a wash, whatever, what do we learn? Cool. We'll play the game we want to play. We won't try and verse them and split, like you said. And I like that they adapted so quickly. Yeah,
they went very early game, and they've gone team fight here, and it's working out an absolute treat. Like Siva, once she hits 2 items, Karma, they have so many team fight tools to get things started, and we are all before 20 minutes. Only 17.5 on the clock now, with an 11,000 gold lead.
If Gravitas can make it to late game, I mean, there's argument that, yes, they could come back, but the thing is, Dire Cubs have that experience, they have that knowledge, they're not going to let them get to late game. That's why the window, it's closed.
And the problem with League of Legends is that late game is semi-intangible. And the further you get behind, the later late game becomes, right? Like, there's no set in stone, oh, we're at 30 minutes, we're at late game.
Yeah.
Like, that just doesn't exist. And every time they look for a fight and it does get punished, the game gets infinitely harder to play with right now. Seaman finds an Orianna.
Yep, chunks an Orianna. Hot Chelly, though, quick enough to try and trade, so still blow for blow.
Yeah, it's rough for Gravitas to try and fight through this one. The flank
look at
is there.
The Cubs. Look at these members, like
it's
little
quick.
sharks. Ubisoft with the Predator. Why not again? That might be the nerves coming out here. Hot Chelly unfortunately dies. Why not manages to live with his life?
Ubisoft's Gragas has the strongest thighs in Sydney. Just zooms it up to top lane. Why not now defending the turret?
Why not trying his best over here? Ubisoft with the belly bounce. That's going to be Why Not taken out. And that's Guapi with the teleport now, seeing if he can try to make some kills here. Could be a double. Does manage to get the double. That's finally going to be some kills traded over on the side of Gravitas.
Yeah, 4 versus 5 though. Kweku not at the play, and Gravitas do find themselves a response. Very nice read from the Morgana.
Suman still on the side, poking Guapi, chunked out right there.
Yeah, 2 versus 3 in the Corki lane does win here. The problem right there is exactly what we expected. Gravitas just don't have the damage. Twitch found the dream open up Seaman.
Valkyrie going in, very, very aggressive. The binding lands, but there's no follow-up.
Yeah, they just don't have the damage. Twitch found the flank, had the ulti, had the lethal tempo popped, but did absolutely nothing off the back end. Bork almost done, whereas 2 items completed here for the Sivir. So gold lead goes up even further, 11, almost 12,000 here. Baron on the cards very soon, 30 seconds before the big purple worm spawns, and Diacubs have the entire map to play with right now. Kweku doesn't have TP, so I'm interested to see if they do just leave him in the bottom side or if they do throw the Corki down there. Have some choices to make before they set up for the Baron, but...
Look at Suman score, a 6-0 Corki.
Yeah.
That's gross. And the rapid fire cannon with the Triforce, that's tons of damage. You don't want to be running into that.
Yeah, it's curious that he doesn't go for the IE. Very often you see the IE secondary, but he's
starting
almost
on
finished
it.
his 3rd item. Like,
He's starting on the IE.
how long Siamet has been sitting on this 2-item spike? The answer is not very long. He's gone from 1 to 3 very quickly.
That's gross.
Yeah.
That was almost Andrew last game. Did you also notice Andrew had a stack of assists? And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
if only those are kills for you, buddy. But this
He
is
was
what
always
could
at
have
the
been.
fight. He was always at the fight and he never really died, but...
Couldn't get those kills.
Yeah.
Always the assister.
Okay, so all 5 members of Gravitas now looking to contest this one. You can see no vision kind of past the river. Diacub's going to go for the sweep out, but Gravitas don't have much time to play with. If they just walk at the Baron Pit right now, yes, they'll find themselves a fight, which they probably don't want, but it just means that the side lanes are going to get pushed further and further in. Package further skews this. Siamen is just so quick rotating around the map and can kind of get from top lane to a skirmish at any point. Here we go.
Why not wants to open up? It's going to be Corporal that's their attention. Suman actually Valkyrie straight into Why Not, who's still there. He gets chunked out completely. Hot Chili trying his best with the shielding, but it's not going to be enough. Shockwave is still up. But
Yeah.
Kweku, he wants them to stall. Now he can work his way onto that bot lane, force them to make a decision whether to defend Baron or defend their base.
And in the 4 versus 5, Why Not doesn't land the engage. The Glacial Prism actually misses its target in Gravitas. They can't lock them down, so caught between multiple calls right now. The one-man contest from the Orianna is going to be the play. Looking to punish Kweku on the other side, but can they take this one down? Siamen.
He knows it's just Hot Chili, and that's going to be another kill added to his tally. Now on 8-0. That's a score you'd be happy about.
That is a monstrous call. He goes
Baron.
back to base, probably going to get himself an Infinity Edge. Baron on all 5 members now. This is a hard team fight.
3-item Corki.
This
at
is
21 minutes, almost 22 minutes.
Yes. 1.5 on Twitch, 1.5 on Orianna,
Just to show you for scale.
3 on Corki. He's doubled.
Oof.
It's quick maps.
How much gold does he? Yes!
Oh.
Oh, I wish I didn't ask. Whew.
Almost 3 in the top lane, 2 in jungle, 4 in mid, almost
dominant
3 in AD
force.
carry. This is enormous. 15,000 gold right now.
For
How many-
Gravitas, they've got their work cut out for them.
Yes. How much does Death Cap cost? Like 3.3k?
Something like that.
They
yeah.
almost have like
Or 3.4?
Yeah, like 4.5 Death Caps worth of items over their opponents.
Wish I had that many death caps.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of damage. This
Another
is-
Mountain Drake now being secured. So every dragon going over to the side of Diacubs, just showing that they picked up every objective, including Rift Herald. So dominant in terms of their map control.
And possibly the last remaining push. Slow one, given they set up for that dragon, but looks to be only the 2 lanes. They have TP on all 3 members available, so Diacubs could go for the full court press, but when you have a 15,000 gold lead, all 5 members on one screen just concentrates that and makes the team fight even harder here for Gravitas. Range advantage also goes to the Diacubs, so this turret not going to be long for this world.
Powered
Rudy
by
Sob.
Baron. They make short work out of it, as well as their 2 Mountain Drakes. And you're really just playing a game of cat and mouse here. Like for Diacubs, the moment that they see an opportunity, they will pull the trigger. You know they will pull the trigger and go for that win there. On the side of Gravitas,
Whoa.
they're looking to see what they can make. It's actually going to be forcing out the ultimate for Andrew.
He's dead.
Guapi, completely chunked. It's disastrous now. MLG is next to fall surely. The heal manages to proc. Why not? He's trying to escape. Manages to make it to his fountain. ML and Retribution seeing what they can do to try and stem it. But that's 2 inhibitors now over 2.
Retribution.
Diacubs, they didn't go for the inhibitor. They actually want to try go for the kills. Now they finish the second inhibitor. They're working their way onto the Nexus turrets. They're looking to see if they can end here. Suman dishing out the damage onto Email. That's going to be the next Nexus turret ready to go down. And now they work their way onto the Nexus. It's going to be Diacubs with game number 2 of this series.
They equalize the scoreline, and to sum up that one, That's when greed doesn't pay off. That is Greedy Lanes getting punished very early and an enormous gold lead. So much control from the Diacubs to pick themselves early buttons. Had the Gragas, had the Karma at the bottom side, and had more proactivity, and that worked. That worked too well.
You saw the cracks really starting to happen in Gravitas's composition. The greed, we saw bottom lane lose, that was expected, but not to that degree. Even with the mid lane then, Sumin, it's turned from 1 kill to 3 kills to 8 kills.
Because it's sort of one of those weird situations, right? Where you look at this Twitch Morgana lane, and Gravitas have done that before very successfully, and this game was the complete opposite, right? Like, losing that trade level 1 into like a heal TP matchup is super rough, and that's why it went so disastrously so early. And then really like the class of Diacubs really did show that game. It wasn't just every lane winning in isolation. It was bottom lane rotates up, they take the second rotation blue buff. So enemy mid laner, no blue buff, jungler doesn't get anything, and then immediately just does the same on the other side of the map. And like, yes, Sejuani is probably a good champion to be starved on, right? If you're not able to farm your jungle, but when everybody collectively on the other side of the map is winning their lane, pushing in and just pushing you out of your own jungle, then the game sort of just does look like that from very early on.
It does. Even the final levels that you started to see, there were like 3 level differences in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Like there was still like 2 levels almost. So really for Gravitas, it was XP, it was gold, it was everything that they were starting just completely shut out by the Cubs. And for the Cubs, playing the game that they wanted to. This is the Diacubs that we know. Yes, it wasn't the composition that we're like, this is true Diacubs, but it was just smart drafting, and it just changed the game, right? Like they said, all right, you want to go on early? Fine, we'll pick something early. And it really worked out for them. Yeah,
super paid off, and now he's in one of those weird situations where blue side victorious game number 1, Gravitas pick it up, Diacubs
Who's gonna go
do exactly the same thing, and they both selected red side. And we'll be back in 5 minutes. Diacubs still have a selection to make. Don't go anywhere.